When we're talking about creating functions, we're talking about making it so that we could repeat a process time after time after time after time. Although our example here is going to be really simple, we're going to let this work like it does. So we need to, when we're designing our functions, need to decide what information we need for it to work, and if it needs to return any information as well. So let's go take a look at our program. Right now, the only thing I'm interested in is initially calculating the amount of tax that we need. And there's my little recording program. So let's go over here, and we have the customer, we have the bill, we have the tax, we have the total. I'm going to go ahead and, so we can demonstrate this in multiple different ways, I'm going to add another variable, dim tax amount is double. And what this variable would do would be holding the amount of tax calculated based off of that bill. And we're going to also go ahead and put the word constant, C-O-N-S-T, in front of the tax amount, which gets then rid of the word dim. So that way only we can change it in the program. Now, notice how I don't have my buttons set up yet. I'm going to encourage you to program your functions first and then call to them through the buttons. This is called the bottom-up approach. Thinking back to our slides, the first word we need for making our function, and again, this function right now is only going to calculate the tax. We're going to go private, then the word function. Then we need to name it. So we're going to name it calctax. And which of these pieces of information up here do we need just to calculate the tax? Not the answer, but just to calculate. Well, we do need the bill and we do need the tax, but the tax is a constant, so it'll pass through everywhere. So we're just going to receive down the bill. So we'll go by val, bill as double. So notice how when I click on bill, it does not directly automatically line up with this bill. That's because we can treat the bills two separate ways. So we hit enter, and that's okay. This little green squiggly line tells us that calctax doesn't return a value yet. So we eventually need to either return something or return nothing. So to calculate the tax, we're going to say that tax amount equals bill times tax. Pretty simple. See how that tax lines up, but when we click on bill, it lines up with this function? That's because our program is smart. That's the only math we're essentially doing, but we still need to then return up to our button that will eventually be programming what we want to return, which in this case would be the tax amount. So we'll type return tax amount. And that will return it up to our button. So I'm going to show you next how to code that aspect of the button.